Hello, friends and neighbors. Welcome in the light, where laughter's the answer and hearts are shining bright. With calloused hands and wits, so razor sharp. Let's praise a place where love ignites the spark.
Hello, friends and neighbors, and welcome to Sunnyside. It's been a week or two since the last time I had a podcast, and I've been very busy, so I want to get you all caught up to date on what's going on around here, because lots of great things have been happening at the old Sunnyside Ranch, whatever you want to call it. And so let me bring you right up to speed. First of all, we had a great weekend this past weekend, most near to us. We've had the 38th annual Forest City basketball alumni basketball tournament. So for the last 38 years, since 1988, our little town has had a tournament where the basketball teams from however they're composed from classes in the years past can come back and play against each other in a bracketed system, and we find out who the champion is. And this time, of course, we had Tate and Tanner came back, and I'll tell you what, they played each other because they had both lost their first game, so then they had to play each other to continue on. And Tanner's team lost a second time. Tate's team went on and then continued to go back on, and they did play in the championship, but they lost. So there you go. I guess the runner's up there. But the good news about the alumni tournament, when everybody comes back home to Forest City, you get to see a bunch of people from classes of the years past. Now, I'm over 30 years outside of high school, so I guess my class did have a team again, but they've melded for the last several years with other classes from the early 90s, and so for that reason, they don't need me to play basketball, and that's probably a good thing, because there's really only one truly good basketball player in the Thompson family, and that's our youngest son, Colin. Not to take away from the other three boys. Jack's team also lost a couple of times, and then they were done fairly quick. So 3 graduates from Forest City High School all participating in the alumni basketball tournament. And then we also had a game this weekend in Forest City as well, where Colin and his kind of AAU high school group went and played another team, and they just smoked them. They beat them by like 30-some points. Colin had 35 points in that game, and the team just really played well. So after seeing a lot of, I would say, not great basketball at the alumni tournament, I saw some really great basketball at the AAU tournament, and that was fun. So a lot of basketball this weekend from a not-so-basketball family, but boy, it sure was fun to see everybody. And the best part of it is, to be honest with you, is that they all come home. And so that means that Tate and Miranda brought our grandson, Austin, his first visit to Sunnyside, and he's 2 months old now, and just a sweet, darling little boy. He's eating a lot, he's getting bigger, and man, it just goes so fast. It may not feel like it when you're a young parent, but it does go very quickly. And so he's busting out of his little footsies and trying to grow right in front of our very eyes. And so we got to spend a lot of time with him this weekend, and that was awesome. Can't ask for better. I can't wait until, he starts crawling around, and then he gets into stuff, and he starts walking, and the whole deal. Then they start talking, having conversations, opinions. Can't wait to take him fishing and ride around on the gator and just look at the cows and all that good stuff. And speaking of cows, of course, we've had our cattle that I've been talking about. Now we went through and got the first group delivered. So they were our customers. Thank you, everybody, for buying Sunnyside beef on this first order. And also, we're coming out this week with the remaining group. They're going to be delivered this week as well. So thank you to those customers in this second group. It's just fantastic. It's been a 9 months of learning the business of taking care of the cattle, and learning what to do and what not to do, how to make some improvements, what we can do a little bit better each time. I'm looking forward to making some more fences and making some more pasture, and of course that is something that has to happen as we get another group of steers to raise for our customers in the fall this time. I did learn that we call, so my parents did this for a long time, and they had their customer lists, and of course they got out of it, and then I started doing it, and I got into it a little bit late. I picked them up in June of last year when they were 500 pounds, and then we took them in, and they were like 1,500 pounds, so they're averaging, quarters were averaging around 200 pounds or just over 200 pounds per quarter, which was great. That's a lot of meat. That ends up being like 80 plus pounds of hamburger and steaks and roasts and short ribs and all kinds of good stuff. And so it has been a learning experience as we've done it our way, and working with the Conger Meat Market as they help us put things together and take care of the processing for us. And they've just been great to work with. So we really look forward to doing it again. But I did have a lot of those customers from my parents when I would call them up and say, "Hey, this is Troy Thompson. I'm to explain who I am and that we're still raising beef." And everybody was excited about that because they love getting that Thompson beef. But the problem is that a lot of them had got it in the fall and they weren't quite done. They weren't quite done with what they've got in their freezer. So I've learned that, and from various other reading that I've done from guys like Joel Salatin, who is the lunatic farmer. If you know anything about Joel, I'm a big fan. And really, you want to probably finish them and get them delivered in the fall, late fall, early winter. And so that is what we're going to do this time. And that actually helps me figure out how many steers to buy and get ready over the course of the summer and feed them out in the fall as we take it on. And I've had customers also ask me, are you going to do chickens and pigs and things like that? And I'm like, well, yes, but you got to give me some time. So yes, we'll try some chickens some fryers or whatever. We'll try them this summer and see how that goes. I'm going to pull them around the hayfield and the alfalfa and let them kind of work through that, move them a couple of times a day and see how that goes as we do. And then eventually, I don't know if it'll be this year, but we are looking forward to adding Berkshire hogs to the Sunnyside mix of meats, which is an incredibly high quality pork. Doesn't look anything like the other white meat that you're probably used to seeing. And that's because they are, raised in the woods and they root around, and you still obviously feed them and take care, but they just love being the omnivores that pigs are, and they like being outside. And so we will get into that. It's just a matter of time. There's some fencing that has to be done first and some preparation. But on to the next group of cattle as we prepare for them this fall, which reminds me, I have had some, we've added a link now to, it'll be in the show notes for a newsletter. So you can stay on top of, if you're a subscriber to our newsletter, it won't be so much about what the podcasts are, because if you're a listener to the podcast, you just know what's going on. But with the newsletter, it will give you some additional insight as to what we're doing here on the farm with links to videos. So I think I'm going to have some private videos just so that folks can see what we're doing if you're a member of that newsletter. And it also gives you an idea of what we've got coming up next, when the next beef orders will be taken, and what we're doing to develop Sunnyside Hollow, which is the land that we purchased to our southwest that's got a couple of ponds on it. And that's what we're trying to develop into a nice pasture area for more cattle and livestock of all sorts. So that is a process that we are in the midst of. Not really like a homesteading process. We've been here for a long time, going on 20 years here at Sunnyside. But this, since I retired from the Army, has been the plan, and we've been slowly getting things put together. That's just how I like to do things. I like to try to get things in. Some people do it all at once, and they just jump into it both feet first. And I like to think things through a little bit more and try to get things organized. Plus, I like things to look a certain way, including that chicken house, that hen house that I built. Hen Holla is looking beautiful. We're going to get that stained and ready to go. In the meantime, our hens are ready to move out of the barn, and they are ready to go out now that it's spring. And so we'll pull them around in the chicken tractor for a little while I finish the inside of the Hen Holla and get them moved into that space. But I'm going to move them out today. today, actually. I'm going to have them out, and they'll be excited to go out and pick around in the dirt and scratch around, and that'll give me some relief in my in the part of the barn that I've got them, because they can be kind of stinky, and they're even as I manage the manure and all that other stuff, they're very dusty. I don't understand how birds get to be so incredibly dusty, but man, do they kick up a lot of dust. And so they are going out. They're going out in today, and they're going to go out and enjoy the pasture. And I'll keep moving them around as well. And let's see, bring you up to date. I finished sheetrocking. In fact, that's the picture that I decided to use for this podcast episode's placard, because I wanted you to see what it looks like when I spray sheetrock. So I got all the sheetrock done in my son's basement, and then sprayed, which was its own exercise in humility, really, because I came home and I had to, put a towel on the seat of the truck because I was just covered with spackle. You wouldn't believe it. It was so messy, and got it done. But I ended up just basically throwing away those clothes because there was no bringing them back. And so those went right into the dumpster. Those clothes did, and walked into the house in my underwear. And that is how it is at Sunnyside Farm. Sometimes you get a little crazy, messy like that, and if you can't repair it, you just throw it away and move on to the next thing. Fortunately, those jeans I'd bought for $10, so it wasn't like they were high quality. It wasn't like, if you're like me, you probably have a step down program on your clothes. So you buy them new and you wear them, and then you wear them and you wear them, and then you're just like, well, these are getting kind of, I'll probably stain it somehow or something will happen. And then it goes down to the work clothes, and then you work through them for years or whatever. And then you're like, all right, finally they have to go. And sometimes you can turn them into rags, which are useful in the shop. And sometimes, like the other day, after all of that spraying sheetrock, which I don't do very often, and for good reason, they go right into the dumpster. And that was the end of that. Now, so that's, I guess that brings you, there is one more thing that happened this weekend, which is pretty exciting. Maybe it's not exciting for you, but it's been very windy. It's Iowa, and so we've got lots of trees out here in the old Sunnyside Ranch, and so they dropped some branches, and the Waldorf University football team, as a fundraiser, once a year in the spring, they'll go out and they will, for free will donation, they will pick up sticks and rake yards and do all kinds of stuff like that. And so I was ready. We had 10 guys come out, and they picked up the whole acreage. We took down all our snow fence. There were some trees that came down. I got them cut up, and then we got them all picked up as well. And so in just a matter of, I'd say, 2.5 hours, the entire acreage had been picked up, and now I'm ready to do what Mark Helgeson, one of my first guests in the first season, has told me to do, and take care of the lawn, get things fertilized, get things aerated, maybe do some overseeding, different things like that. Roll it out because it's nice and wet. It's going to rain all week, and so get things making that lawn look beautiful, so that for the rest of the summer we can enjoy our view here at Sunnyside. And so thanks to the Waldorf Warrior, the university football team, coming out, and at least 10 of them, and helping pick up on Sunday afternoon. They just did a great job. And it's weird that, I haven't mowed yet. It's too early for that. But just picking up sticks, what an incredible difference that makes. It seems like the yard is like a yard now. I mean, we didn't have millions of sticks on the ground, but you know how it is if you've got to do that spring cleaning. And I tell you what, if you get 10 football players to come out, you can pick up a lot of stuff in a short period of time, and they sure did. So that was great. That was I really do enjoy having them out here and supporting the program. One of our other podcasts, of course, is the Waldorf Gridiron Club podcast, where Andy Buffington and I are co-hosts, and we interview players and coaches and talk about Waldorf football. And so that was very helpful. We talked about it last week, the cleanup, and some of the other things that we're doing. So if you are interested in tuning into that, you sure can. I will tell you that for all of our podcasts that we do, you can now Buzzsprout, which is the platform that I use to distribute all of our podcasts from Sunnyside Farm Studios out to the world, into all of the different platforms for podcasts. And Buzzsprout now has a cool option, which is on this very podcast as well, where you can actually call in and leave a voicemail. And that is pretty cool too. So looking forward to those. I know folks have texted the show before, and I always appreciate that. Now you can leave a voicemail for good, bad, or indifferent. Hopefully good, but indifferent. And if it's witty and fun, that is, yeah. Look, if it's a good message, it's going to get on the show. I guarantee it. So that's a fun little feature that you can do. There's a link that is on every episode of our shows, and it says text the show, but now you can leave a voicemail as well. And so I appreciate that service, and I encourage you to do so. And like I said, also in the notes, we've got the link for our Sunnyside Farms newsletter, which I encourage everyone to sign up for. It's not like something that's going to harass your email. I'm thinking maybe once a month, we'll just give you an update on a more personal one-to-one level of what's going on here at Sunnyside Farms. Share some photos and things like that that the rest of the listeners don't necessarily get if they're not subscribed to our newsletter link. So go ahead and do that as well. And then you can stay up to date, like I said, on when the next beef sales come up in the fall and when we'll be taking orders and what's going on with some of the other projects that we've got going on here at Sunnyside Farms. Well, since it's been a couple of weeks since I've been on the air, just because of, I was so running around, my head cut off, finishing sheetrock and placing orders and communicating with customers and all of these other good things. So took a little bit of a break there, and I apologize for it. I hope you had a very wonderful Easter season, the resurrection season, Passover, and all of this. That's just a great time. Of course, it's the highest holy day of the Christian calendar for good reason. That is, our salvation is right there, celebrated by the resurrection of Christ. And so that was fun to spend time with family as well, and just have a nice meal together. And of course, the church services and all of the music and the good things that go along with the Easter season, which is now has passed. But look, he is risen every day. Every day. Easter isn't just once a year. It's Easter. Resurrection Sunday is every day in the Christian book. Well, but it's also been some interesting things, I guess, that I'll touch upon here today, and just give you, if you are interested, give you my opinion on what's going on in different parts of the world. It's crazy to me what's happening in the news now. I don't watch a lot of news. I kind of quit watching like cable news as a regular viewer. Oh, I would say 3-4 years ago. What we did is we just unsubscribed from our cable services. And so now everything is streaming, which I don't think is actually cheaper because there's so many streaming services that kind of get you coming and going. But it's better for me because I'm not watching the news 24/7. And if I had some mental health advice, I would say it's probably good for people to do the same. Separate, unplug from some of the 24-hour news cycle. If you're just watching the news all the time, it is intended to make you upset and intended to push an agenda of one form or another. And so that is something that I'm just not super excited about. Following the news cycle every single day would drive me nuts. And I have been just mentally a happier, healthier person since I stepped away from that. Now, I still collect news. There's news feeds that I get through my email. There's news feeds that I get through social media. And then, of course, I do listen to other podcasts as well. And those type of people do spend a lot of time talking about the news. However, as part of that, I stopped. I was a Ben Shapiro listener for quite a few years, and we didn't agree on a lot of things, but I for a long time I agreed on his economics and certain things in politics, but I probably quit listening to Shapiro about a month ago, just because of all this Iran stuff, and I kind of feel like he showed his cards, and I don't need to reiterate too much, but if you've been listening to the show, not a huge fan of the Iran war. I think it's a stupid idea that we're doing, and it's proven to be a greater challenge than what we were led to believe, or at least what we were told. I didn't believe that it was going to be a couple of weeks or a few weeks or anything like that. It reminds me a little bit of back when COVID, they were like, we just need 2 weeks to stop the spread. Remember that? I mean, think of that. This is 2 weeks to stop the spread. We got a couple of weeks, just a few weeks, and we're going to do all this. And now, we're going into we're 6, 7, 8 weeks now into this Iran situation. Supposedly we had obliterated their nuclear program a year ago. That's what we were told then. And remember, the administration, regardless of who's at the top of the administration or what party is running it, politics is mostly puffery. It's just overstating their accomplishments in just about every capacity. And I think the Trump administration is probably the most puffery in as they would say, maybe of all time, maybe on all history. And every time that we say it's never been done before, this is the greatest thing perhaps of all time in history and all that, it's clear to me that nobody's cracked a history book in that administration, certainly at the very top, because when you say things like it's never been done, this is the greatest ever, clearly they've never cracked a history book, or maybe a Bible, to be honest with you, based on what the president's tweet was on Easter Sunday. So that was pretty horrible. I'm not going to reiterate that too much, but just a lot of trash coming out of the White House, and the Iran war continues to be a debacle. It is a war. It's illegal in my opinion because we didn't do it. I mean, they now refer to it as a war, but we never declared war, which is what Americans, we accept that, I guess. We just accept that, administrations can just go off and do whatever they want. Now they want, what is it, $200 billion? It's like $1 billion a day that it costs to have this stuff going on. Iran closes the Strait of Hormuz, which probably most people never knew even existed, or that a quarter of the world's petroleum goes through that strait, and they don't care. I think it's funny. It's not funny, but it is a little humorous to me because I have maybe a wicked mind when it comes to humor, and it's like our entire administration is irritated beyond belief that this sovereign nation has the audacity to defend itself, the audacity of the Iranians to keep fighting back and demanding things. And it's like you're just allowed to go in and smash up as many houses and buildings and countries as you want to, starting with Venezuela, and then hip globe-trotting around the world, and then just smashing up like bull in a china shop, except worse. And then just walking out and being like, you guys, to the rest of the world, you guys don't want to help clean this up? Why aren't you guys helping clean this up? What's wrong with you? Well, it's your problem now. I mean, what a dick move. Pardon the French there. But like we just go in and bust everything up, pretend like we've decapitated the Shiite empire in Iran, just like we obliterated their nuclear program. And then we claim to have accomplished all of our military objectives. I'm going to call, no, we did not do that. I don't know. First of all, it was never clear what our military objectives actually were, in my opinion. And we just went swinging in there and took credit for destroying their Navy, which, by the way, as I said before, or if I haven't, understand that navies are, if you want the easiest way to scale a Navy or to compare navies is by displacement rate. And the United States Navy displacement is something like 300 million tons or more. And I'm just doing this off the top of my head, but it's an incredible amount of you have carrier groups and all this other stuff. And the entire Iranian Navy was I don't know, 2 million tons of displacement. I mean, that's like Reagan, crying, chanting victory over Grenada. This is essentially what this is. The problem is it's not Grenada. Their Navy was insignificant, but they can and do control the Strait of Hormuz. They do not go ahead. Like, you think that do you think that the Iranians really care if the United States sends ground troops in? I would wager that they don't really care. It's clear that they don't care about their people, right? They are a terrible regime. But that's not our job. There's nothing in the Constitution that says we need to be rolling around the world and just taking out people that are baddies. And they are baddies. They've been baddies, as everybody on Fox News says, and Republicans keep saying over and over again, for the last 47 years. And as I have pointed out for the last couple of months, this is a 70-year-old or a 100-year-old problem. It's not 47 years old. But if that's as deep as your history allows you to go, or at least for your puffery, then, that's probably what people believe. So every time I hear somebody say, wow, 47 years, we've been at war, blah, blah, blah. Well, yeah, sure. We created that with our own idiots. We could have been doing business, like I said before, with Iran since the 1950s. We could have been doing that, but we couldn't, because the same people today that are, frothing at the mouth to continue to wage war in any capacity in the Middle East for whatever reason, were the same type of people in the 1950s that were frothing at the mouth to wage war against, whoever was behind the Iron Curtain. And I've already explained that in another episode, so if you want, you can go back to the episode that says Troy doesn't like it and hear all about that. But it's not going well. The rest of the world does not want to participate. Iran does not care if you land troops in it. They probably kind of look forward to it because it will not be a great situation. We have the best military in the world. We absolutely do. I'm very proud of my military service and proud of my brothers and sisters in arms. And we're good at what we do. But that doesn't mean that the people in charge are asking for the right mission set. I mean, that's a pretty normal thing. Politicians typically don't drag their feet into the front lines, and they never have, and probably never will. And so it's really easy to be tough. I heard, and someone sent me a meme recently, and they were comparing the difference between the current Iran situation and Vietnam. And they say that, the difference is that President Trump absolutely had a plan to get out of Vietnam. Which is, it's kind of funny. It's a pretty good dig at the president who did not go to Vietnam, found a way out of that. But he had a plan to get out of Vietnam, that's for sure. But to get out of Iran, not so much. So our military objectives might have been to destroy their navy. Maybe now it's to go get uranium wherever that's hidden. I thought we obliterated it. Maybe it was, open up the Strait of Hormuz. Now the president is saying that. So then Iran is like, well, we're going to go ahead and, we're going to charge a fee for people that want to pass through. So you got to pay us. And Trump doesn't like that, particularly, I suppose, if we're not getting a piece of it. So now he's saying we're going to destroy the ships that pay the fee. And private, I don't know what he's thinking. He's losing his mind on that. In the same way that previously he had said, this was supposedly before we had a ceasefire, which is not going to happen. Israel doesn't allow ceasefires to happen ever. And so we had some sort of agreement that there was a 10-point thing that Iran wanted. And that's a great place to start negotiating, considering what we've done to Iran. And it seemed like that was maybe a good thing. But like I said, Israel, they can't have a ceasefire. They are a perpetual state of war over there, and they love it. So that didn't happen. They kept bombing Lebanon, and they said that wasn't part of the deal. Iran said it definitely was going to be part of the deal, and just that's how you shish kebab the whole thing, and they did. And so then we sent to J.D. Vance, the vice president, who I don't believe is particularly keen on this war. He's like a lot of Republicans like myself that say, well, this is stupid. But he's over there doing the due diligence. And behind him is the president's son-in-law and whoever else is owned entirely by whatever is going on with Israel. And so they come out and say they've got a deal or some sort of a new deal. And I don't believe that there's not a deal. There's not a deal because Iran has something to say about it. I mean, it's their country that we are attacking. It's a bowl-shaped country surrounded by mountains that have been kind of the focus of empires for, I don't know, millennia. So they're not too worried. That's not to say that they don't feel the effects, but like I said, they're a bad empire. They're a bad regime, and so if their people, are killed at the hands of Americans, they don't really see a problem with that, which is why the rest of the world is kind of reluctant to get involved with all of this, because like a bull in a china shop, we went in, like I said, destroyed a whole bunch of crystal, and now we want everybody else in the world to pick up the pieces because we pretend like we did the hard work, which nobody asked us to do in the first place. So since nobody wants to sweep up the china shop, that makes President Trump annoyed, and increasingly so. And so it's become problematic because, I don't know if you're aware of this, but a huge part of our economy is that we are not only we're the world's monetary, it's our currency. The dollar is, we got away from the gold standard, thanks Nixon and various other people, and we went fiat currency, and then it's all tied to the dollar. What's also tied to the dollar is oil or petroleum. It's called petrodollars. And what I think is happening right now is you're seeing and this is scary, and to some degree, it's a fundamental shift in petrodollar valuation, so that it could very likely, what may happen, I'm trying to be the sunny side of everybody's life here, but this is not a very sunny side conversation. And what happens when this incredible mess that we've gotten ourselves into because we've had incredibly poor advice and incredibly terrible hubris from the top down, what happens if we lose the petrodollar? What if the money that is behind oil, the way the world trades in petroleum, moves to a different form of currency? I can assure you that if that happens, and I feel like it is occurring, the value of your dollar and my dollar is going to be significantly less. So the money that you saved up for retirement, the things that you've planned on purchasing, the investments that you've had in your home and property will not be what you think it is. And you can thank the Trump administration for that if that occurs. That's a big problem, particularly since nowadays everybody seems to be mostly concerned with affordability. And so for the communists or the socialists in the United States, and like in the Democratic Party, they're very interested in affordability. And of course, they believe that the government is the solution, and that somehow if you tax billionaires and millionaires, basically anybody that's richer than you currently should pay more taxes than you do. If you're that type of person, you need to check probably your soul a little bit, because it appears to me that you're probably wrapped up in the venal sin of envy a little too much. But there's affordability. And so you've got Mamdani in New York and promising everything to everybody, and it all costs nothing. But it does cost a lot. You see states like New York and California and various other states, Washington, Oregon, losing all of their businesses, and well, not losing all of their businesses, but losing their businesses and losing their millionaires and billionaires, and they're moving out of state. So much now that those communists are considering taxing people their full valuation of everything that they own, and before they can leave and depart their state, they have to pay to leave. Can you imagine? I don't think that's constitutional. But who knows? Maybe it is. I don't know. That's not certainly what the founders imagined. Can you imagine having stuff living in a place, paying taxes for whatever reason, because I guess we have to, that whole time, and then in order for you to move somewhere because of the measurement of your wealth, then they're going to take some of that and keep it, as if, just like everything else, taxation is theft, and they're just saying, hey, listen, if you want to leave, it's going to cost you. You're going to have to pay us a little bit. That's what California is considering. New York is not yet, but I'm sure that they will, as people just flee from these terrible states that want they just want social programs to take care of everything. And so in the world of affordability, even the Republicans are concerned about affordability. And depending on, from what I understand of particular polling, most people in the United States, doesn't matter what their parties are not real excited about the Iran war. They're certainly not happy about the cost of fuel, but that, of course, bleeds over into the cost of everything else, the food and transportation, everything. It all kind of comes back to how much it costs to move things around. And unfortunately, the affordability situation it crosses all party lines, and people are not happy about it. But we're focused on a war in a part of the world that we should not be bothering with. And the result is, unfortunately, I think there's going to be a problem very shortly with what they call the midterm elections. And so it's possible that the Republicans, who have a slim majority in the House and a very slim majority in the Senate, it seems like it's a foregone conclusion that the Republicans are potentially going to lose they're going to lose the Senate, and they could potentially lose the House. If that happens, what will occur, of course, is that, well, in the House, they'll initiate impeachment. That's what the Democrats do. Like, they have no actual value other than, they're going to just run the table on things like impeachment. And if they have the Senate, it's possible that they could actually accomplish it. So regardless, after 2026 here, starting in 2027, it seems like the president is going to be a lame duck, which is really unfortunate, because had he just stuck to the things that got him elected, both in 2016 and again in 2024, he would have been fine. Because the idea to me of make America great again, or America first as a policy, is to take care of the United States domestically. And that's what people really want. We're just not interested after 20 years of war on terror, which, again, I don't know how you make war on a noun. But that's what that was a bad idea. People were against it. Trump was in tune with that. And then he did the complete opposite on bad advice. And he owns it now. Unfortunately, it could be that he's going to leave the presidency as a lame duck. He doesn't look well. It seems like it's all getting to him. The big betting of his whole life, his career of big bets, not paying off. And in many cases, leaving out of bankruptcy court, it's possible that the same thing is going to, I hope it doesn't, but it could occur with the United States. It's a version of Atlantic City casinos, and that big bet is a bad deal. So if he leaves the administration in a couple of years, or 3 years, I guess, having been a lame duck, having lost the ability of the Republican Party to be able to have a majority in the House or the Senate, and potentially the White House. If that occurs, I don't want anybody to eliminate the filibuster. It's such a stupid idea. So the Republicans are pushing. It's like, if we don't do it, they'll do it. Well, I've just heard this. Like, that was the argument of getting into Iran. Well, Israel's going to bomb them anyway, so we might as well do it before somebody else does. There's no longer a regard for historical, context, and it's just living for the moment right now, in every capacity. And so, if the Republicans don't eliminate the filibuster, which they're fairly loath to do. I mean, there are enough people in Congress that are like, we don't want to do that in Senate. And if they eliminate the filibuster in the Senate, because they think that the Democrats will, they're not wrong. I don't think they should eliminate the filibuster, though. I don't think the Democrats should eliminate the filibuster. But some say that they will do that. And then others say that if the Democrats become powerful, then they will stack the Supreme Court. And so now there's discussions about, is Alito going to resign or retire? Is Thomas going to retire? So that they can, have younger, allegedly constitutional conservatives in those spots. I don't know the answer to that. And it's hard to get justices necessarily approved by the Senate if you don't control the Senate. So there's a lot of things in play. And I don't like being in a position to be forced to vote for a douchebag who happens to have the same party nomenclature as I do, because of the threats of what they think that the other side will do if they don't have control of the House or the Senate. So the parties need to they should have always been doing a much better job of vetting their people who are running for office. And I need the people who are elected to office to stop taking money from people who expect to own them. And I just, it's very frustrating, isn't it? It's a very frustrating situation, because I don't particularly think that is going to change. Just weird things, strange things happening in the news, which is probably why imagine how I speak of these things and I still have a smile on my face. God loves us, and we are blessed with the salvation through Christ, and this is in His hands. I do not believe that Trump is a Christian. I don't know that. And of course, I can't tell who is, ultimately saved. That is up to God can save whoever He wants to. But you always hope for the best in that situation. But I would say probably not for Mr. Trump. And I'm not sure how much of his administration is truly in that situation. I cannot believe that you're a faithful Christian and a follower of Paula White. And he is, and so I don't know what that's all about. Just a lot of weird and not so great things happening. But we can also remember that God puts bad leaders in place as well to serve His own purposes. Like I said, it's all God's plan. So it doesn't matter if you're a Republican or a Democrat or an independent or whatever. You might think that the people that we elect are amazing, and they might get elected and they might do God's work, whether they want to or not. That's just how God operates. But there's lots of other things going on that are also kind of weird. Melania Trump made a weird statement for no reason, in my opinion. It's probably the most I've heard her talk, maybe ever, talking about her relationship or non-relationship with Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell and that whole thing. It's almost like, why? What was? Yeah, it was. I had nothing to do with this. She says, okay, well, it's like if she had come out and said, I had nothing to do with JFK assassination. To me, it's the same thing. It's like, okay, nobody was asking you about that. Nobody, what's the deal? Maybe there were a few people that were tweeting about it or bots or whatever, but who cares? Like, when do they start paying attention to that? So it's just weird. That was a weird thing. Some people think that Donald Trump didn't know about it, that she was going to do that, but then he says that he did. And first he said he didn't, and then he said he did. And I don't know. It's just, that's a weird situation that's going on. The news in general is just acting weird with everything that is happening. I can't help but giggle just a little bit at feel bad for Kristi Noem situation. I've gotten after her a little bit when she was in charge of the Department of Homeland Security, because it was kind of Kristi Noem centric. She got in trouble, but took a lot of criticism for kind of making herself the center of the attention on that, spending a lot of money on an ad campaign, which involves her riding a horse and various other things, and looking cute in a ball cap that says DHS and all this other stuff. She's no longer the Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security, and she's going into some, I don't know, America's Shield, whatever that is. Nobody really knows. It's like a made-up thing, but she's probably not going to be able to continue to do that because her husband is a wacko. And everybody was wondering what the deal was there. Like, what's his deal? Like, why? Like, she's a pretty lady. They've been married for a long time. They've got kids and grandkids and stuff. And so why would, what's all these rumors about, her having an affair and everything? Then we find out that he is like a cross-dressing bimbo fanatic. Oh my gosh. I mean, come on. What do you do? What in the world, South Dakota? What are we doing here? So I'm going to guess that his insurance company is probably for sale, at least, and or his book, I guess, would be for sale, and not like the book you read, but like insurance. They call it a book when you have your customer list. I would imagine that's probably going on the market fairly cheap. I don't know what the situation is going to be between those two. I don't know if she can continue being like the Marvel comic version of whatever America's Shield thing is. It's supposed to be against like the drug cartels and all of that, which again, that was several months ago that I was like, we're just bombing boats in the Pacific and the Caribbean now because it's fun. And we're pretty sure they were all cocaine dealers. Yeah, we're pretty sure. Of course, there's nothing left to say for sure. We just blow them out of the water. So just been doing a lot of, I don't know, extra constitutional things, and it's very aggressive, and it doesn't have much to do with America first. I'm all for getting rid of drug cartels, and don't get me wrong, and immigration. Like Trump's been pretty good on immigration. I mean, that's really, in fact, he's been so good on immigration that now it's not a concern. So you can't even like claim that as like a victory lap when it comes to the elections the next time, because he just did, he enforced the law. Tom Homan continues to do a great job. And but now people are worried about affordability. And then when you set the world markets aflame, because you're getting sweet nothings whispered in your ear by Israel, it's just not helpful. So I don't know. I mean, these are the things that I get to listen to while I'm attempting to make sheetrock look good in a basement, and picking up beef deliveries and dropping them off and taking care of the packaging and all this other stuff that we've been doing the last couple of weeks. And it does bring things home. At the end of the day, politics, the most important kind of politics, is very local. What you can do at the local level matters. The leadership that happens in your city government, your county government, the school boards, the state governments, those things all matter. But each level up, and each level up is usually indicated by how much money the elected officials make at every level. So school board, they don't get paid. We don't get paid. City council, they get paid a little bit. County supervisors and the elected folks in the county, they get paid a lot more. And then you get down to the state house and to the state elected offices, they get paid more as well. So on and on and on. And it seems like you can be most effective, you and I can be most effective at our local level. But it's so easy to not be involved or not be active or not to dedicate time to the things that affect your life right in front of you, wherever you happen to be, that we don't do it. And when we don't do things like that, when we don't get involved, when we don't pay attention to our local politics, we don't pay attention to the budgets at the school board or at the city or at the county or the state level, when we don't pay attention to those things, when we expect the government to solve all our problems for us, like it's just nobody likes taxes, but they expect the government to still pay for everything and take care of. It's really our responsibility. Like it's becoming less and less common for people to believe that it's our individual responsibility to be fiscally responsible with our own checkbooks, and then to expect and hold our elected officials at every level to the same level of accountability that we have to do ourselves. It's just so much easier to distract us with blame games about people that have more wealth. It's their problem, or we've got this problem, or it's this group of people, or they're the problem. There's always a there or somebody else. And I would suggest that critical thinking demands that anytime that somebody uses as an argument somebody besides you that is causing the problem in your life, or you can be led to believe that someone else, the other, is creating the problems in your personal life, and that motivates you then to vote a certain way, to keep a particular person or group in power, you should run for the hills and do the exact opposite, because more than likely that is a big fat lie, or at the very least, it's a good amount of puffery. And we don't need that. You can cut through the puffery, and you've got plenty of opportunities to practice because we have a very puffery-based world at this moment. So it's everywhere, and I think that you'll find that our life is a little bit better for having done so. So it's been a weird news cycle the last couple of weeks. I apologize for not being with you. We're going to have some guests on that are interesting, have nothing to do with politics, that I'm looking forward to starting next week, getting back to some good things, talking about what we're doing out here. And to stay on top of it, like I said, do not forget to use that link that is in the show notes for our newsletter, which we will start sending out, I would say, beginning or the end of the month. And we'll just keep doing that. There'll be special opportunities in there, and so on. Notes and updates, things going on at Sunnyside. We sure do appreciate having you. I consider every one of the guests, like I said, a friend, a neighbor, and I'm very grateful for everybody that does listen to the sunny side of life as we continue to grow in all of the different capacities that we have going on out here. So thank you very much, and I really do have missed the last couple of weeks of communicating, talking to you. Hope you had a great Easter. And just remember, let everything, like I said, it is, I didn't come up with this, this too is in God's hand. This too shall pass. We've got some not so great things going on. But cut through the puffery. Enjoy your family. If you got a grandson or a granddaughter, children, you hug them, love them, and stay focused on the things that actually matter, which is your relationship with Christ, your role in your family, your role in the community in which you live. And if we all do that, I think things will be just a lot better. So there you go. That's my message. I hope that you have a great week, and I look forward to talking to you again next week with a guest as we get things lined up for that. Until then, keep on being the sunny side of someone else's life.
When the shadows fall and doubts begin to creep, remember together we're strong, never weak. Lift your neighbor up with kindness every day. Let your actions speak the words you want to say.
The Sunny Side of Life is a weekly production about our life on the family farmstead here in Iowa, the liberties we prize, and the pursuits which make us happy. None of this is possible, of course, without Christ in our lives. For the Lord God is our sun and our shield. He gives us grace and glory.
Be the sunny side of someone else's life. Share your light and joy through struggle and strife. Keep your heart open and your soul always bright. Together we will share this sunny side life. Be the sunny side of someone else's life. Share your light and joy through struggle and strife. Keep your heart open and your soul always bright. Together we will share this sunny side life.
May the Lord bless you and keep you, and may the sunny side of your life in Christ be made evident unto you each and every day, and give you peace.